Good morning, friends. It's Crazy Cheap Chick, and today I'm headed off to Dodge City. Does anybody remember Gunsmoke? That's an old show that they pretended was in Dodge City, and it always made those of us in Kansas laugh because they had mountains in the background at Dodge City. And there are no mountains near Dodge City that I'm aware of. Anyway, because we're going to be gone all week working, John Wayne and I didn't buy a lot of groceries. I didn't need to, but I will show you what I found. And I'm also going to show you what I found at Goodwill because I'm a big time thrifter. I love thrifting. It's the thrill of the treasure hunt for me. And I am not cheap because I have to be. I'm cheap by choice. It's a lifestyle for me. I love saving money. I get more thrill when I find something really inexpensive than if I bought it brand new. And I know plenty of people who are just the opposite. They don't like to buy something unless they paid full retail. And the way you build wealth, though, is by living below your means. Spend less than you make, and you will start building wealth. Well, let me show you what I got. Well, folks, I didn't get a lot at the store today, and that was on purpose, because next week I'm going to be out of town. I have to go to Dodge City, Kansas for work. And when I'm out of town for work, they provide most of my food. So anyway, let me show you what I got. I got some bread. I was almost out. And I think that's I got it. It's $3.79. And these tortilla chips were $2.25. I got this guacamole for $2.92. Some tomatoes and this lettuce for $1.08. Because tonight I think I'm going to make nachos, loaded nachos. And then I found a couple of things off the clearance rack. I didn't get any fresh produce because I'm going to be gone. They did have this toothpaste for $2.39, and I had a coupon for $1.50 off. So that made that a pretty good deal. Here's some peanut butter. It's crushed, but it's fine. It was $1.09. And these snacks I just got to take on the road when we go down to Dodge City. I got some trail mix, 4 packages of maple butter flavored almonds. They're okay, pretty sweet. And they had some of these. They're like cheese and, what do you call that, beef stick? So I got some of those. That way we can have some snacks in our hotel room or in the car, and hopefully it'll keep us from stopping at a gas station and buying something real expensive that is even worse than what I did buy. So I got those things, and then as always, I could not resist the plants. They had these plants. This one was $5.40, and then these two were $5.04. And the gal in the florist department told me that these are considered fall decor, and so all of these plants were originally $15 each. And they were marked down to about $5. I think these are really pretty. And I told her, I said, you know, with plants that I buy, I usually torture them until I finally murder them. I'm like a serial plant killer. I just don't do well with plants in the house, though I have a few I've managed to keep alive. And I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And she said, well, repot them. She said, that's the number one thing. And I almost didn't buy these because they had sprinkled some glitter on them, and I hate glitter. And it's like, once you bring glitter in your house, you will have glitter in your house for the rest of your life. But they were just so pretty, I couldn't resist them. And she said she had one that she had kept alive for 8 years. So apparently it is possible to keep them alive. But since I'm going to be gone next week, I don't know if I'm going to have time to go out and get a pot and repot them. But that would probably help a lot, because she said they don't use the best dirt. And of course, they're probably used to being really overwatered, and I'm not going to be here next week. So I don't know. We'll hopefully be able to keep them alive, but can't guarantee it. So these were the last plants I bought on clearance. They were $2.60, and this one's quit blooming, and this one's not doing great. But I am going to try to overwinter them, and I'm not real great at that, though. I'm going to put it with the other plants I'm trying to overwinter. I do think these look kind of pretty on this tabletop, though. I've never seen poinsettias this color. Since I didn't have very many grocery store bargains to show you, I'm going to show you what I got at the thrift store. So I got this basket. I thought it was kind of cute. I'm going to use it in my pantry because I'm in the process of organizing the pantry. It was originally $9.99. It rang up for $5.09. I had a 15% discount. Then this book rang up for $2.71 with the discount. This is a really nice book. It's never been used. This would make a perfect gift for someone, and I don't have any problems re-gifting things or buying gifts at a thrift store, a discount store. It's a nice book. It originally cost $40. These two ties were $2.37. I think this one was just a little bit more, like $2.40. Really nice ties, and they've never been worn. I got this little tin can for $2.50. Now, I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but I might use it as a gift. It still had its original tags on it. And it would be so cute with a bottle of wine in it, or flowers, or just anything you wanted to put in it. 2 candles. These candles rang up for $3.49. And that's a really fancy candle. It smells great. And then this candle also, $3.49. Great gifts. And there's always candles at the thrift store. I got some clothes. This is like a really long, I don't know what you call these, pullover or coat. And it rang up for $4.24. Then this shirt right here, which is a Simply Vera, rang up for $4.89. It had been $6. And it's just a simple plain black shirt. Thought I might wear it with this sweater. Then I really liked this t-shirt. And I got this t-shirt. It rang up for $4.89 with the 15% discount. 3 pairs of these jeans. Now, these are not expensive pants. I think they're Walmart pants, Time and True. But they were all on clearance for $3.50. So for me, working around the farm, I go through jeans pretty fast. So $3.50 is great. A couple of brand new bras. Still had the tags on them. And I think it rang up for $2.54. This one also brand new, $4.24. Why they were priced differently, who knows. And then I got this rug. This rug rang up for $5.09. So if you are looking for gifts, don't forget to look at Goodwill. They have plenty of stuff that has never been used. And I know I'm going to give this one to a friend. And this book I'm probably going to keep for myself, but it's a lovely book. And with clothing, I haven't bought anything brand new for years. I mean, years and years and years. And I buy this stuff and put it in the wash, and I wash everything before I wear it. But I mean, I find plenty of clothes at Goodwill that meet my needs. Even if I was working in an office where I had to dress up, plenty of clothes. So I think I spent about $60 today. I never spend more than that. So all my clothing and household goods, usually between $200 and $250. And that's one trip to Walmart, or one trip to the mall, or one trip to Target. So I feel like I'm saving a lot by buying stuff that's used, but I also feel like I'm saving the environment. That describes me. Too old to be modern, too young to be antique. Oh my. I'm happy to say that we collectively shamed John Wayne into buying new socks. And as long as he was online, he bought new boots. And that's a lot of shopping for John Wayne. Now, the old socks, no matter what my oldest daughter said, I know she said if it's not good enough for your rear end or your feet, it's not good enough for anything. I think these will make great dusting gloss. Well, thank you so much for watching my video all the way to the end. As always, I tell you a little story at the end to entertain you, terrorize you, delight you, or just make you go, what? And this story is going to be about the Challenger explosion. Now, if you remember way back in 1986 when that thing exploded, that was the shuttle that had the teacher on it. So it got a lot of publicity leading up to the takeoff. And the reason I remember it so well is because I had a newborn baby. So just like I was a newborn when Kennedy was shot, my son was a newborn when the Challenger exploded. And they still televised all of those shuttle takeoffs, even though it had become, like, I would say, fairly common. They were shooting those things up all the time. Now, we're driving to Dodge City and we're going around some farm equipment, and I apologize for all the road noise. I'll turn it around so you can see. That's life in Kansas for you. So these shuttle takeoffs had just become so common. It seemed like they were shooting them off every 3 or 4 months. And I remember I was in a rocking chair nursing my newborn baby, and I had a kid that was 1 and a kid that was 2. So newborn 1 and 2. And John Wayne had worked all night the night before. He was in bed asleep. And it seems like it was late morning. I can't remember the time. But I was watching a TV show, and they interrupted it to bring on the space shuttle takeoff. And I just remember being so irritated because I didn't want to watch that. I'd seen so many of them. There was nothing new or exciting about them anymore, other than this is the one that had Kristen McAuliffe on it, the teacher. And as they go through their countdown, and it lifts off, and it wasn't very long into the flight, like 30, 40 seconds, I would guess, from my memory, without looking it up, that thing exploded. And I jumped out of that rocking chair. I ran back to the bedroom, and I woke up John Wayne, and I said, they're not saying anything, but that space shuttle just exploded. I just watched it in live time explode. And it took him a while to finally admit or to verify that the shuttle had exploded. And the whole time you're just sitting there watching it just in shock, trying to process what you've just seen. And it seems like we've gone through so many of the things like that in our life that we probably all have like a low level of PTSD just from all the history we've witnessed in real time. So, and all you could think of was of those poor people and their families. It was horrible. It was really shocking and horrible. Now, what's your memories?
Well, I think it was earlier morning, mid-morning at the latest. I didn't think I'd been asleep very long. When you woke up, you're obviously really upset, which, got my attention very quickly. I came into the living room with you. And just remember sitting there in front of the TV, watching it over and over. It really years later, after 9/11, look back on that, kind of the same thing. You just sit there watching it happen over and over again all through the day as they tried to figure out what was going on. I remember being struck at the time by the whoever it is that does the countdown, and then
the flight director or something.
The play-by-play, that his voice never changed as it happened. He just kept relaying technical information, and he had no reaction to it other than just he had this calm, matter-of-fact voice just telling us what, the technical things, not saying that it had exploded, which I understand why they didn't say that immediately. They're human too. This had never happened before. they're trying to wrap. This is a tragedy for them. You got to think the people that worked in the space program. These were their babies. This is a lifetime's work. Each of these shuttles was the whole program.
And they knew everyone personally.
Yeah, and so they would have been in a state of shock, and also in that position, you'd have to be very careful what you say, because people will run with any little piece of wrong information could have far-reaching consequences. So I understand them being very careful not to say what happened, but in short time it became very obvious. You can see the debris falling. They're just the contrails of the pieces coming down, and so it was within minutes. I couldn't tell you how many. It's a lot of years ago, getting close to 40 years now. But it was a kind of a landmark event, one of those dates you always remember where you were.
Yeah, and of course you were watching it after it happened, the replay of it. I watched it live, but my immediate reaction when I watched it live was it exploded. I knew it exploded. There was no question in my mind of that. Now, I think that famous physicist Richard Feynman was on the committee to investigate that, and if I remember right, and I love all his books and I love watching videos of Richard Feynman, wasn't it like faulty O-rings that caused it?
Yeah, so cold weather O-rings on the boosters. They had the cold weather had caused them to contract or harden or something, but they didn't seal properly, and so the gases from one of the boosters was like a cutting torch into the main fuel tank.
And then, if I remember right, they had kind of known that was a pretty high risk and decided to go ahead with that flight.
Yeah, there are a lot of warnings about the weather.
Rings.
Yeah.
Well, that's our story for today, sad as it is. Thanks for watching all the way to the end. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Go out, find some bargains, and tell me your story. If you remember when the Challenger exploded, where were you and what were your thoughts? I'll talk to you soon.